Today we're going to be following the career of the greatest tight end ever. To do that, we had to create the greatest tight end ever, and here he is, Travis Hill, another Hill-named player, but realistically, a lot of these ratings, as you'll see, are mainly filled by Travis Kelce and Taysom Hill, believe it or not. And I didn't really feel like Taysom Kelce really worked out so well. Maybe I'm wrong, but Travis Hill sounds very basic, yes, I will admit, but also it fits a little better in my opinion. Obviously a 99 overall, 6'5", 245. In Madden, I would argue 6'7", 6'8", is more viable. It's just something about those guys that just are hard to cover. They catch everything. But I think in real life, 6'4" to 6'5" is probably the perfect height for a tight end. And those are kind of the prototypical guys. So we put them at 6'5", 245. I think that makes a lot of sense. And obviously you can see here a bunch of different really, really good ratings. And honestly, Taysom Hill alone is probably the reason why this one is even existing, because of all the elusiveness ratings he brings to the table. It does actually make this a very, very good one because of how well he can break tackles. I mean, a lot of these ratings are actually way higher than most receivers, let alone running backs. So could see a lot of broken tackles, could see a lot of really high yardage seasons. I really don't know where he's going to go, and I'm hoping it's a team that... It's weird because it's like the teams that are going to do well with tight ends in the scheme are going to be teams that already have tight ends. So I really don't know how this is going to go or where even they're going to go. Maybe the best bet would be the Dolphins, possibly, but we'll have to see. First, though, I want to see all of the ratings and where we got them from. For the speed, Kyle Pitts, obviously. For the strength, technically George Kittle. He's tied with Taysom Hill, ironically enough, and Mercedes Lewis, but Kittle is the highest overall. Agility goes to Schoonmaker. I always call him that, even though I think it is Schoonmaker. Obviously, acceleration, 93 to Kyle Pitts. Awareness, 99, Travis Kelce. Break tackle, 84 for Taysom Hill. Get ready. Trucking, 87 for Taysom Hill. Change of direction, Trey Knox. Ball carrier vision, 95, Taysom Hill. Stiff arm, 86, Taysom Hill. Spin move, 79, Taysom Hill. Juke move, 86, Taysom Hill. Connor Hayward for 81 carrying. 98 catch, Cole Kmet. 88 short route running for Travis Kelce. 85 medium route running for Travis Kelce. 79 deep route running for Travis Kelce. 91 catch in traffic for Mark Andrews. 93 spec catch for Travis Kelce. 85 release for Travis Kelce. Could have just been a Travis Kelce. 95 jumping for David Njoku. Didn't need to do it, but there was a lot of tight ends that, used to be QB. Tyree Jackson, a guy I really wish would have developed at some point and became a goon. 93 throw power. 81 short accuracy. Get ready for it. Taysom Hill. 74 medium accuracy. Taysom Hill. 74 deep accuracy, technically Taysom Hill. 79 throw on the run, Taysom Hill. 75 throw under pressure, Taysom Hill. 81 break sack, Taysom Hill. 79 play action, guess what? Taysom Hill. Tackling we did put on there, Jordan Thomas I think was the higher overall. And then Luke Rhodes with 79 hit power. That is a position that does get involved on the tackling of interceptors quite a bit. We then move on to pass blocking, which is technically Travis Kelce. Run blocking, George Kittle. Run block power, George Kittle. Run block finesse, Dallas Goedert. Lead block, Chris Manhertz. Impact blocking, George Kittle. Stamina, Travis Kelce. Injury, Travis Kelce. Toughness, George Kittle. The winner of the Super Bowl is the Packers over the Bills. And we have a couple of mock drafts. I don't think the first mock draft would have actually had Hill in it. Oh, it did. They had him at number 12 to Seattle. I wouldn't hate that. They have a pretty high-powered offense. Could be a really tough offense to stop. Then we have mock draft 2. Wonder if he moved around at all. We have Travis Hill still at that 12 spot, going to the Commanders. Mock draft 3 still has him going to the Commanders. All right, here we are entering the draft. I mean, obviously, honestly, I would like for the Chiefs to somehow get Travis. They won't, but that would be great, of course, because they're easily the best scheme in the game for tight end development. He would actually legitimately have a chance to become the greatest tight end ever if he was actually on a team like the Chiefs. I don't know if there's any other playbook in this game that has a scheme good enough to create the greatest tight end ever. But if you have a lot of touchdowns, you never know. Of course, we are kind of leading up soon to where Travis might go, so we're probably going to turn on the celebration stuff. And I literally just turned it on to full, and it didn't go. Commanders, like they were expected to, the moment the draft process started, do end up taking Travis Hill out of Iowa. We are now headed to Washington. Like, what the hell does full mean? I just think you got to do it before the draft starts. You can only go from full to none. You can't go from none to full. That's what I think, at least. Let's see what else Washington was able to muster up. This is a great team, though, for us to be following. Not only do they have Travis Hill, but they also added Evan Stewart, who is very fast. And then more importantly, they've already had Jaden Daniels. So he's going to have himself a really good quarterback to work with, a really solid wide receiver for several years, and just a team that has high trajectory, high potential. The problem is, I'm trying to think of recent history. They haven't really had that kind of tight end to be able to be like, yeah, this is a team that's going to put up a lot of numbers at the tight end spot, so I really think the scheme is going to let him down, but nonetheless, it could have been a worse team. And here's the team. You got Terry McLaurin at wide receiver 1. You've got Jaden Daniels at number 1 QB. Stewart at wide receiver 2. And then, of course, the main man we're going to be following, 21-year-old Travis Kelce. All of that talent, X Factor. I really wonder how quick his speed and all that's going to regress when he gets up into the 30s. Usually that is it just drops hard. But yeah, he looks obviously unbelievable. 98 catching, 91 speed. I mean, he's a wide receiver at tight end, But if you guys have been enjoying this kind of series we've been doing, let me know by leaving a like, maybe subscribing to the channel. Maybe you've been watching some of these but haven't subscribed. Maybe I've earned that from you so far. I don't know. Seems like a lot of you guys have actually done that, which I appreciate a ton. And then which position would you like to see next? I think we could definitely do DT. We could probably do safety. And I have seen some people meaning with fullback. Possibly. I think after those positions, though, we kind of mentioned already, I don't think you can really do much more. O-line is just pretty much pointless. It's just stupid. 99 overall X Factor, you're going to give up sacks. It's just dumb. And at that point, we would just be watching a guy give up or not have sacks. Give up or not give up sacks, and it's kind of pointless. Whereas this, we can see yards, touchdowns, broken tackles, the whole 9, and they play, obviously, a very big factor and a chance at, winning a Super Bowl. But, let me know. And once again, I have some other ideas, which we'll definitely get into. Kind of wanted to do it this weekend, or probably maybe this week sometime we'll try. But, of course, first season, we missed the playoffs. I have no reason for us to lose, so there's no point in me looking at that. I can't imagine with numbers like these from Jaden Daniels that we're going to be looking too hot in the receiving game, but let's take a look. And, yeah, this has got to be fixed. This, doing tight end challenges, experiments, whatever, 100% of the time, just shows how bad the sim kind of logic is, that it's basically all based on the scheme. I don't know what we're going to do here. We might have to change the scheme to something a little bit better because, let's be real, dude. A guy this good is not only having 500 yards. Look at what Brock Bowers is doing in real life. This guy is not only having 500 yards. We already lost a chance at Rookie of the Year running the Commander scheme. I don't think anyone here is going to be complaining that we're going to change to some sort of scheme that's going to be a little bit better. At least we did get Rookie of the Year, someone else on the team, a little bit better for the tight end, because that's just a joke. Of course, also can't win Best Wide Receiver, so the awards are going to suck a little bit more, but that's why the stats matter so much. They really do. I'm going to look across the board. I think Minnesota might be a decent one. We'll have to take a look if they are, but I think that might be the one we're going to go with. We'll find out here in a moment, though. Looking at the yards, purely, going to see Travis Kelce somewhere near the top here, and surprisingly, we don't. Where the hell is he? Andrews. Okay, maybe the Ravens. I don't really want the Ravens, though. Talking about Bowers. Bowers actually did really well there. Browns with Njoku. I really would love to have seen the Vikings a little bit higher here. Because if that's the Vikings, if the Vikings aren't even anywhere near here, maybe I'm not going to go with them. 700 yards. Maybe like yards per catch were low. So let's take a look at that. So the Browns scheme seems to be kind of decent for Njoku at least. Goddard's up there as well. I don't really want to do Philly because I don't really think the scheme fits. Let's go with the Raiders. We were just talking about Bowers. Let's go with the Raiders scheme. All right, new scheme, new team. Well, same team, but hopefully a new team. Santos, the tackle. Right end, Spadell. And then a middle linebacker who has a ton of speed. I mean, this guy's an elite athlete. What's that change direction looking like? 75, a little lower than kind of thought he was going to be. But yeah, that is crazy. 91 speed, 91 excel at 6'3", 84 agility on top of it. Very nice 6-11 record. Even worse somehow with the Raiders scheme, which is crazy. Even worse passing with the Raiders scheme. Maybe I'm worse off for this team. Although we did talk about it. Travis Hill actually put up some good numbers for once. Once again, we're not going to be able to see anything other than Offensive Player of the Year award wins for a tight end, so we kind of have a pretty good idea of if they have a good chance at it or not. I know for a fact Travis will not win that. That is just not happening. Do we go with Dallas? See Jake Ferguson putting up some numbers this time. Hill was way up there, though. I mean, it's weird. Like, is the Giants really a good scheme for tight ends? The Ravens seem to be, for sure. We obviously know the Chiefs are, but I don't want to just default to their scheme. Which team had, like, the most touchdowns? There's not really many touchdowns for tight ends either. This has been a battle of, like, who the hell should we use? The Saints are somewhat up there. And Njoku, the yards are way down. It's very volatile, it seems. Chiefs are probably the safest bet, but once again, that's not really a fair scheme. That scheme just does well no matter what, which feels a little bad. Maybe let's go with Houston next one, see if it does any better. And then I definitely would like to try out I don't know if I would say the Niners. Vikings didn't really work out for us. Giants, I still don't believe in that. Eagles, maybe? No. I don't know. I really don't know. These numbers are all over the place. Now, hear me out. I would do the exact same. If I seen a tight end that I thought was going to be a goon, I would take him even if I didn't need him. That's exactly what happened here with Carroll. Unbelievable talent in the third round, but at the same time, a little bit of why. But yeah, not a bad draft. 2 77s and a 75. And the Commanders find themselves into the playoffs, and I also completely forgot to change the scheme, so maybe this is for the better. Daniels is playing really well efficiency-wise, but once again, Hill not really putting up the numbers we were hoping for, but we can get back to it in a moment when we switch the scheme for next season. Definitely kind of random, so it's not guaranteed that the Raider scheme is going to give you numbers, but hey, you know what? We were able to make the playoffs. We had 2 seasons that were decent for a tight end, and then, of course, just a complete failure right away in the playoffs. Let's go into that playoff schedule, see what we're looking at here. You have the Commanders losing this game against the Packers, and Hill was basically non-existent. But also, you know how all the time I say, well, I don't know if I want to re-sign this lineman because I don't know if, hey, he gives up 15 sacks. Is a 99 overall worth it to keep if he's given up a bunch of sacks? I'm going to go out on a limb because of how low the bar has been set, that the only thing that matters in Sim is actually the overalls. So if you have a 90 overall quarterback that's playing like crap, your odds are still going to be high to win because their overall's good. I think that's what it is. I think it's all about overalls. It doesn't actually matter their specific ratings, how specifically they're playing. It's all about the overalls, and it's scheme-based, as you can tell with Travis Hill not putting up crazy numbers despite being by far the best tight end. He would be the best tight end ever, made. There's no one that's ever been as good as him, as well balanced as him. If you have someone as fast as him, usually they're not as good at blocking. Have someone that's as good at getting open / catching, they're probably not going to be as fast. So yeah, I mean, I really do think it's all scheme and all overall based. And obviously, going future wise, if you need to re-sign a lineman, I don't think you do it if you know it's going to cost you too much. But at the same time, I also wouldn't get rid of a lineman just because they're giving up a lot of sacks in Sim. I think that's irrelevant. I think the sacks allowed means nothing. I really do. I mean, the Commander's been drafting pretty well, so why did I speak? I mean, sure, he's a hidden dev. He's a 71 overall in the first round, mind you. Then in the second round, 66 overall. Yes, he's got potential, but that's so low. What about the third rounder, 69 overall, Andrews? I mean, sure, I guess. I mean, this team really just took a dive here in the draft, oh my. And they're pretty broke. He might actually be a free agent in the future. And the playoffs are missed. We went with the Dallas scheme, which is known notoriously for being one of the better schemes. They're always winning games. You can see Jen Daniels' numbers, at least yards-wise, did improve. Tight end numbers, I do like these from Travis Hill. Is it what I'm going to stick with, though? I think I might give Houston one try, and if they don't put up as good of numbers, we're going to be going over to them. As far as Commanders goes, though, we are not on the Offensive Player of the Year list either. Really wish best tight end could at least win best wide receiver. It should just be best receiver, because if you're letting a tight end win best receiver, it's your fault as a wide receiver for not doing better, all right? It's not my job. And here are the Commanders with a brand new running back, 80 overall, Jeromepkr. They have a couple of other players in here as well, and Hill is still here on a 5th-year option. McCoo is normal dev, which is maybe the highest overall normal dev I've seen in a long time. Normally, those running backs are star at minimum, but sure, I guess. That's what you want to say. I don't think that makes any sense, and I'm not really even sure why EA generates those, since it's been about 2 Maddens now, since really any running back under even like a 70 overall has been lower than star to start the game. They usually do change those pretty quickly, but I mean, this year we've seen how many star dev running backs really early into the game, that really we didn't expect to see. So the fact that an 80 overall would be normal makes no sense, because, I mean, when's the next time they're even going to rate any 180 overall, let alone a running back? I don't get that. I don't really understand that. It's like countering their own like methods. I don't know. It's just weird, but let's move along. Actually, let's take a look at the team. It's year 5 now. Let's take a little update of the team. Could be the final update of this team as they might move on. We do want to go with the Houston playbook, see what's up. But yeah, Hill's banking of his extra overalls, not really looking super good. Lee McNeil's here, which is a little surprising. I thought he signed a contract extension with Detroit, but I guess not. Terry McLaurin's regressed pretty hard. Cosme's a superstar, and they also brought in Ragnow. So some Lions are headed over here. Shocker! The team misses the playoffs again. I mean, it's not an 8 season, which is the season that actually got us to the playoffs, so it's just a little bit of unluckiness. Not a lot of touchdowns in this Houston scheme. What about the receiving numbers? Yeah, I mean, they're okay, but I think Dallas is probably your best bet if you're not going to go KC. I think, though, we've wasted so many of his years at this rate. I'm just going to go with the Kansas City Chiefs playbook. I don't care. The game is so dependent on scheme that it's really the only way to kind of redeem him a little bit here, so that's probably the plan. Well, I didn't really even think about it. We might not even be following the Commanders in a moment, because this team, I mean, their money is a little bit better than it was a moment ago, like last season, but they might not be able to afford Hill. Maybe they don't want to afford Hill. We'll see. I mean, personally, the way he's been playing, I guess I'd still say he's probably worth, top dollar, top 3 in the league, but could you live without him? Probably. Oh, they got a lot of money. He's going nowhere. Let's be real. And looking at the draft picks, they had pick 16, 16, 16. Wide receiver, decent bit of speed from Tommy Green. Probably going to be on the shorter side, right? 6'2", hitting at 233. I mean, I like that. That's kind of goated. And then, of course, they have themselves a left outside linebacker. Not that fast. Probably going to be normal dev. No, Drew Hall. Cool name. Power move's good. Block shed's good. It's a pretty good draft, I think, as the team heads into another year of uncertainty, with the playoffs being kind of random. So they did re-sign Hill to a 4-year deal, I believe, which would take him till 30. This is kind of when a lot of tight ends do go to free agency, so it's kind of like there's a built-in, I don't even know, like, trajectory that's almost always, like, given. I can't believe Lattimore's still here, by the way. At 34, he's kind of godly. Like, he's still a starter at 34. Of course, once we do hit the age of 30 for Hill, we will put on dev regression, because otherwise feels a little dumb. I feel like someone at this high of an overall would take a long time to regress anyways, but at least at like 30-ish, that's when, players can sort of regress, I suppose. But yeah, let's continue the sim. Hopefully this team can get a little bit better using the Chiefs scheme. Maybe they'll actually start winning some playoff games, and maybe we'll see some 1,000-yard seasons. I'm not really sure where he's going to end up all time, but hopefully in the top 10, top 5 maybe. Even with the Chiefs scheme, 7-10, not really looking too good. Jane Daniels looked good, though, so maybe at least the individual stats were possibly good. Oh, they were. 1,244 yards with 7 touchdowns. This is just going to have to be the way it is, right? Not going to win Best Offensive Player of the Year, not going to win, that's really actually all you can get. I was thinking of an award. There is none. You can't, as a tight end, win anything but Offensive Player of the Year or Rookie of the Year. I guess you can win MVP, but you're not going to see a non-QB anyways. Pick 11 they use on a tackle, which is fine, and then a safety, Drew Andrews. Yeah, really unique name there you got. I mean, I suppose it is. It's just, a little strange. Not a bad player, actually. Balanced as hell. Usually you don't see that kind of man coverage from a safety with lower speed. But here he is, looking decent. And here we are, finally, back in the playoffs, 11-6. It's been a long time. His team is just not really doing much, but the Chiefs scheme will always prevail. A little surprised that Miku took a little while to actually get to this kind of 4.6 yards per carry status. Still under 1,000 yards, though. No double-digit touchdowns. Hill may be good enough for an Offensive Player of the Year award, which would be insane as a tight end, but yeah, I don't know if that's going to happen. Like, how many times has a tight end even won Offensive Player of the Year? Like, ever. And have they? MVP does go to Jaden Daniels, which is pretty cool. Offensive Player of the Year, he wasn't even on the list. Like I said, it's just basically impossible. You're basically going for stats and then, postseason success, which so far haven't really had a lot of either. Last 2 seasons have been good for stats, but postseason not so much. We win against the Eagles. Now we have the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, seen their name in there a little bit, and yeah, as expected, we do lose to them. I don't know what it was, but just looking at the fact that they had what is it called? They had a bunch of different players kind of scattered around the list we were looking at. It did not surprise me that they won this game. 4 touchdowns, 1 pick. Rushing wasn't really that great. Where was Hill? Come on, Hill. Zip! EA! 0 catches, 0 yards, 0 touchdowns, 0 everything for Hill in the Chiefs scheme. That shouldn't even be allowed. That's I mean, even Travis Kelce, who's had like a pretty bad start to the season, I know he's kind of picked it up a bit. Even he was getting a few catches, wasn't he? Like, he wasn't doing super well, but he was at least getting a few catches. Oh yeah, this team is really broke. The cap room is basically up against it. Of course, tight end's still going to be here for another 2 seasons anyways, I believe. But looking at the overalls, 3 guys in the 70s, really good strong safety. They've been really keying in on the DBs. 8-9, I mean, I'll be real with you. With this scheme offensively, you should really be making the playoffs every single year. There really should be no excuse. It's just so good. I mean, look at this. You balance out those 4 guys, and that's 4,000 yards between the 4. And then you have, another almost 40 touchdowns. It's such a good scheme. Hill not as good as last year, but still a good season nonetheless. Once again, gonna be not looking at those awards. There's just no point. I will say, though, you do kind of get the award of the Pro Bowl. I'd say there's a good chance that he's been in the Pro Bowl a couple of times now in a row. So if he can, retire with 6, 7 Pro Bowls, maybe make that argument that, he's at least in a rightful place, I suppose. But yeah, it's going to be hard to tell with, there's no best tight end, and Offensive Player of the Year is impossible to win for a tight end. I don't know why. I just completely, skipped the draft, and looking at some of these players that they just got, it actually seems like they had a really good draft. A couple of decent wide receivers, decent overall players in general. You got a 72 overall middle linebacker. You got a 74 overall rookie running back with a lot of speed. A 75-ish overall wide receiver with a lot of speed. Ironically enough, the one we skip is the one that they actually have a pretty damn good draft for. Oh, technically the best season at 12-5. I believe the second best season was that 11-6 we just had. But let's take a look at the numbers. Jaden Daniels, obviously, he's really kicking off with the Chiefs scheme, which he should. And then Hill just falls off completely. He is about to be 30, which is kind of that drop-off point in game. Yeah, I mean, hey, there's this chance here that he can maybe, if we're lucky, get a playoff run going here. I mean, we look like a decent team. We got a really good quarterback. And we are going to win the first game against the Niners. It's a tough team. Then now you have the Panthers, who are an 87 overall, 12-5 team as well. We win that, but now it's really a challenge as you go against Dallas. If you can win this game, I feel they can win it all. And they do win! It's the Super Bowl! Hill could do it! Let's go in. We're going to go check. It's going to be the Texans. I mean, the Texans scheme is decent. They're 13-4, but I feel good about it. I don't feel good about it, but I feel okay, I suppose. I feel like, there's a chance. All right, here we go. If you can win 1 Super Bowl, that'd be great. I mean, you're not going to be able to catch some of the all-times with the Super Bowl count itself, but I feel like at least getting 1 puts your name in that hat, even though it's, if you're a non-quarterback, they usually don't care, right? It's like, who gives a damn? The guy can't influence that much. He's a great player. He plays a very important position, but he can't influence that much, and the defense influenced this one nicely as they do win the Super Bowl. They actually win it. Hill maybe should stick around as they just, they kind of had themselves a year. I'm not going to do anything. I mean, yeah, sure, one team is probably not super fun to watch, but at least, you are getting a chance at multiple Super Bowls as they just won one, so they're clearly good enough to win one in the future. And obviously, one of hopefully many. I mean, the Travis Kelce kind of train started, near his, 29, 30 years of age kind of range, if I'm not mistaken. Kind of feels like that's when all of this kind of kicked off for him. So, yeah, I mean, maybe he's going to have that same kind of trajectory. The yards and, touchdowns are kind of there. Not fully, but they've been decent enough, right? He's been kind of, over the last 5 years, if you balance them out, about 5,000 yards, right? So, not a great Super Bowl itself, but still decent. And, yeah, the defense really did its job, though. I got to say, they were kind of the ones that did it all. Then I show you, I didn't do any sneaky business to try and mix it up a little bit. We just straight up, won. I guess that doesn't really prove anything there. Damn it, let me get to the teams, please. Thank you. But yeah, pretty good stuff. We shall see if any more can arise here. Let's head to the draft. If the team even has them still, I believe. Would he have needed a contract this year or the next year? I'm not even sure, but I am not going to touch anything. I'm just going to let it happen. I don't really know what everyone thinks, actually, but multiple teams probably is a little more fun, but also him winning and succeeding is probably just as fun. So whatever it takes to get him that, I can't really play a factor in it anyways, and yeah, I mean, they gave him a long-term contract. I mean, that looks like 4 years, right? I think. Looks like 4, maybe 5. So I imagine he is still going to be here. Of course, I completely forgot to do the regression thing again. I think it's not that I'm forgetting. It's just that I'm thinking at 30 is when I start it, when really I do want to start it at 29 for his 30th. But either way, it is what it is. Oh, I get it. Pick 32, but this is one of the worst drafts I've genuinely ever seen. You have a 65 overall, 6'2", bad receiver, bad blocking even, tight end, who's normal dev. If he was an X Factor, that would be a bad selection, especially in a Madden where you can't get those speed upgrades. And then they get this 62 overall DT in the 3rd round. I mean, these are the types of players I'd be drafted in round 6, personally. Like, I don't know how they whiff that hard, but I guess somebody has to. Oof, right after a Super Bowl, too, and now we're super broke, and I don't even know, dude. This team is going to crumble. I should even see if they even have Jaden Daniels. Imagine they don't have Jaden. That would be such an L. Oh, I guess it doesn't matter if they have him or not. He is only an 86 overall. My man has been regressing. I know he's 33, but okay. I guess we don't really care. They got a lot of wide receivers, but that's going to be going away soon too. The defense is decent. Hines Allen's looking good. Nice. Okay, I mean, let's move it along here a little bit. Still looking pretty good, I imagine. Oh, here it is. 13-4. Could go for the back-to-back. 5,000 yards, almost. 50 touchdowns, almost. It's got to be Travis's best season yet. Not really, because Stanford steals it. I wonder if I put him at the slot 1, if that would make it, even crazier. He's nearing the end of his career. There you go, Jaden Daniels with another MVP. He's nearing the end of his career, so I suppose maybe throw him in there just to see what happens. But, yeah, here we are. Chance at a back-to-back. Maybe he just goes for all-time Super Bowl champion. I don't know how many you would need, 4 or 5. But here we are, the Buccaneers. They took us out once before. They're a higher overall as well. They will not win it this time. Going against the Philadelphia Eagles. If you win, you're in. The extension, that always does it. Damn. What to say, we could have been in, but we are not. Philadelphia versus Buffalo. I'd be sad. They get themselves an offensive lineman, a wide receiver, a quarterback, and then a corner. 67 overall, Cliff Marshall, 6'4". I don't hate the build. I like the accuracy. That guy's a guy you could definitely develop. That is almost a perfect development type QB. Landed him in the 3rd round, late 3rd round at that, so not bad. Pick 30, though. The worst draft pick, in my opinion, as always. No one ever responds to me about this. No one ever, talks to me about it. It's this is the worst pick, right? 32 is obviously the best pick because you just won the Super Bowl. Well, assuming it's your own pick, you just won the Super Bowl. And then 31's not too bad because, you at least made the Super Bowl. But 30, it's the last selection of a team that didn't get in. That's devastating, Raise the flag. It's over. In the playoffs again, at this point, it seems almost guaranteed, especially... Oh, Jaden Daniels isn't here. I just seen that. Tremaine Flowers. Who's this guy? He's a lower overall, but obviously with the Chiefs scheme, young enough to still probably develop. I seen that Jaden Daniels is a Brown. I'm not really sure the decision there, but sure. What is Hill? We didn't really pay attention. He's still an X Factor. Not a great season, but good enough one, you know. It's tight end numbers. What can I say? You look at a guy like Jason Witten, and his all-time numbers look pretty decent, despite the fact that, you know, there's a lot of pretty low numbers in there. It's just, you know, you play a long time, and of course we're already out. Can't even finish the story. Season's over. I don't even know what I'm yapping about. The Jason Witten's numbers look way better than I thought they were. Like, I thought there was a bunch of like 500 to 600 yard seasons. Obviously, near the end of his career there was, but that's just kind of how it works. But yeah, he did have a lot of like 8 to 1,000 seasons. So, you know, that's maybe not the guy to bring up. Just maybe not. Another draft and another decent one. 74, 72, 74. The big problem though is, oh god, they're going tight end. It's Jover. What even happened to that one tight end, by the way? They obviously would have let him go, but I wonder how he ended up turning up. Oh, things are not looking so good. 5-12. This might be a little bit of a lackluster finish. Hill's yards are still really high. We do know that random retirements can happen. I think it's a little early, but I just don't want to risk it. Although we did see last time that we still had a chance to look. But 11,000 yards, 88 touchdowns with at least, I would imagine, 2 more seasons to play. Talking about Jason Witten, looks like he's probably on par for a Jason Witten yardage type of, kind of career, but does have that Super Bowl win. So could be some Pro Bowls in there as well, I imagine. But, you know, I'm kind of getting Jason Witten vibes, which is a little disappointing considering this guy is 10 times the athlete Jason Witten really ever was. Not that speed is the only thing that matters. Whoa! Pick 4 overall, 80 overall, Sheldon Samuels. Pretty damn athletic. That is probably going to be a generational player. Like some of those catching ratings are really high, and he is not, but he's a superstar, which is about damn, the same really. And then they go QB in the second round. Could this be one of those? It is. It's one of those well, maybe not even a scrambler type, but one of the smaller type, quarterbacks that are a little lower overall, but they're at least star, maybe superstar. Not going to be superstar. But there's potential there, I suppose. So we'll have to take a look at, what happens there. Can we maybe start him? I'm not sure. Quick update of Mr. Travis Hill. His speed has dwindled down to an 85. He's still really good, though, obviously. But, yeah, that is a massive drop-off. That kind of only happened recently here as he just lost 5 speed this last offseason, which doesn't even, count for dev regression. The thing we turned on is literally just his dev, which obviously he's still got X Factor. But as far as him just going down on his own there, that's just the normal game. I mean, other than changing the actual regression sliders, there's not really much you can do about that. He also doesn't have any upgrade points anymore, but still being a 99 overall, still at 33 is really crazy. Travis Kelly, how are you? Even though I think he's 34, 35. And 9 and 8, I think the run's gone. I think it's Jover. Yeah, I think it's over. Flowers doing really well because this scheme just cooks no matter who is at QB. Hill, just 1,000 yards or under 1,000 yards, 4 touchdowns. Talking about that chance of, being a Jason Witten yardage guy. One more season like that, and, there he is. But, yeah, looking pretty good. But, man, the early part of his career, not the best. Did get the title, but, yeah, a little disappointed. That, we weren't seeing 1,200 yard seasons at minimum, 15 touchdowns. I was expecting next level, which of course I still don't know how it works for Sim. Does us having a tight end that's a 99 overall give us a better chance to win? I don't know. I really don't know. I just think the way it is it's the team overall that gives you a good chance to win. So having that 99 overall gives you a better chance for the team's overall to be higher. So that's where it matters. I don't think it's actually the individual stats. I don't think it's any of that. I think it's just pure team overall wise. We've had, Super Bowl runs where our playoff numbers for our QB were ass the entire time, but we've won because the team overall was just so much higher than the other team. That's just the way I think it goes. Still, an X Factor has dropped to a 95. The speed is dwindling more and more, but he is still looking A-okay. Could be one of the last seasons for all we know, just based on some of the abrupt retirements we've been seeing lately. 73, 75, 72, then they have a random left outside linebacker. I wonder if this is a pass rusher. I've been looking a little bit deeper and deeper in the drafts for pass rushers because, usually you're going to get them in round 1 at the outside linebacker position, maybe early second, and then it drops all the way to like the 5th or beyond, where you can find some decent players, but I really just haven't been bothering. It just feels like a waste. Rather go left end, right end in the 3rd or 4th round if I'm not going to go in the 1st. It's getting worse, 3-14. I would love for him to just hop to another team right before he ends his career here, because I almost said end something else. Because, he's still putting in the work. He's just not getting any team success. Is his Pro Bowl number looking good, though? Let's take a look at the awards. 5 Pro Bowl appearances and drafted pick 12. That's where his his accolades kind of end. Of course, does have that Super Bowl win, but only 2 seasons where he had double-digit touchdowns. I mean, it's pretty mid. It's pretty mid. What was his long in his career? 80-yarder. I mean, that's a long freaking touchdown for a tight end. All right, let's take a look. Moment of truth. This is year 30. Well, not year 35, but he'd be 35 years old. Did we just get another person that retired? I mean, he wasn't as in his prime as some of the other guys, but did we get another person that retired sort of in their prime? We did. He would have been, probably would have been about 90, 91 overall, but he was 95 before the season hit. He did retire an X Factor, though. Travis Hill retires after 14 years in the NFL. Surprisingly, Travis Hill's legacy score is actually kind of up there. 19,000 with a Super Bowl, a championship, 5 yearly awards. You look at that compared to Jordan Love, who's a quarterback, and, he passed up Love. Is there any other, tight ends that are, higher than him? I'm trying to look. I can't really see the positions. Travis Kelce, obviously, but he has 3 Super Bowls. So, only, 3,000 legacy score higher with multiple Super Bowls. There's not going to be anyone else up there, I don't think, for tight end. So, pretty impressive, right? Arguably retires a top 5 tight end. Obviously, recent history, top 3 tight end easily. Let's actually take a look at some of his other stuff if we can. No, I don't want to see it. Do want to see where he compares yardage-wise all time for tight ends. My guess would be... Let's see actually what his numbers are. Oh, I can't look at total. Crap. I think he did retire about 13,000, right? I'm going to either say 13,000 or 13,800, which would probably put him at 4th, maybe? Oh, it would put him at... Well, actually, it would be about 4th because Travis Kelce would have had a couple more seasons here. Yeah, I was about dead right. About 4th if he had that extra season. I can't remember if he passed Witten. 3rd or 4th all-time in yards. That's what we know for a fact. As far as touchdowns go, would have been about 3rd as well. Maybe, don't know what Travis Kelce would have done here. About 3rd or 4th. So, arguably a top 5 tight end ever, which is pretty damn hard to say you've become, right? So, pretty damn good stuff there. As far as those awards go, like we said, though, 5 Pro Bowl appearances. It's going to be tough to do much more than that in Madden. They don't really seem to care about many other positions, unfortunately. You can actually look at... Oh, no, that's not. Wait, what? Wait, what is this? I don't that's the season. Career... Okay, yeah, whatever. Who cares? But yeah, that's going to be our following the best tight end ever sim. Another Super Bowl sim, though. Another Super Bowl winning sim for a non-quarterback player. That's always a win. I think if you can get a Super Bowl in one of these... It's amazing. It's awesome. All these storylines can go F themselves. Anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed, which if you did, maybe leave a like. Subscribe if you're new. If you're not new, I do appreciate getting support on the channel. Follow me on Twitter, Jeromepkr. Second channel, PKR Plays for non-Madden content. Probably going to do a, I keep mentioning it, but I haven't really found the time. A Terminus Easter egg, playthrough. Not like, look at him, he can do the Easter egg. But I think it's fun to have that just on YouTube. There's random people that I've seen that normally don't do COD, play COD Zombies, and I'm like, oh, that's a fun little thing to look at. And I've always been a huge Zombies fan, so that's what I'm gonna play anyways. And then of course, if you guys want to see more of these, let me know which positions you want to see next. Like I said, we could probably do DT. We could likely do strong safety. Don't know if I want to push it more than that. Maybe the fullback. I don't really like that idea, though. I really don't. So I'd maybe move on to something else after that. But that's about it. Appreciate you guys showing love on this series. We'll be back on Monday with a rebuild of some sort. I'm not even sure which team yet, but probably an actual realistic style rebuild. Been doing a ton of fantasy draft ones lately. And that's pretty much it. Long outro's long, and it's finally over. Thanks for watching. I'll let you guys come back for next video. But until next video, see ya. And as always, shout out to the members of the channel. I appreciate you guys a ton. And if you guys are not already members of the channel, maybe click the join button next to subscribe. All the details will be in there. Once again, starting December, we will have at least one exclusive rebuild to members only. Like I said, probably going to be aiming for the 15th every time. I still am trying to pinpoint what it was about the 15th that I was always looking forward to back in the day. I don't know what it was, but it was something that I always looked forward to, and I liked it. It could have been something so small, like it could have been like 15 years ago, maybe, hell, even kind of, no, not longer than that. The 15th was like a special lunch day at school, for all I know. But I don't know why. That's going to be the goal. Anyways, again, thanks for watching, member or not, and see ya.